Hello everyone and welcome to my YouTube channel, Art Classes My Way. We're going to do a very simple little video, and that's adding shadow or shading to a painting that you might have already painted and you've noticed that maybe you want to put in some more details as far as shadowing goes into your watercolors. For this being such a small painting, I'm just going to use a regular old filbert paintbrush here. I'm going to get it a little bit wet, and I'm just going to get a little bit of black. Now, depending on what it is that you're painting, it's a pretty good idea. You don't necessarily have to use black. There's a variety of colors that you can use. But for this guy, I'm going to just use some black, and I'm going to water it down pretty good. I just want this to be like a tint of color. I don't want it to just be flat black. And now that this guy is very, very dry, he's bone dry all the way through, and that is very important when you want to add on top of. So basically what we have is this has already been painted, obviously, and the pigment has settled into the paper. Now what we're going to go and do is take a light coat of this tinted black here, and this is a pretty good consistency, and we're just going to do a wash over the top of it. Now you want to go very quickly because you don't want to re-agitate all the pigment that you've already put down. And that's part of why you want it to be good and dry, because when you put wet into wet, you could end up moving some of your pigment and getting rid of some of your detail that you might want to keep. So my light's coming from this direction, his whole back here. I want this a little darker, so I'm just going to go over the top. And always remember, black does dry a little lighter than what it goes down as. And I'm going to go around his body. I'm going to just pick up some little bits of water along the edge of my glass. Need a little more. And I'm going to leave that over there. And I need to mix myself up a little bit more black. And a little bit more. There we go. I'm going to come down the leg here. That needs a little bit more color. Come over here along the foot. That looks fine to me. Now I'm going to go down the tail. I'm not going to worry about the front part of the tail. That's actually picking up some light. But I do need to hit this back part where it kind of has curled back on itself. Pick up some more black. And this allows you to pretty much tint what you already have going on. And wipe. Now for here, to kind of give the illusion of fur, I'm going to just kind of go up and down just a little bit, and I might just go ahead and detail that out just a little bit more later. And there we go. Now you can see this ended up drying very light, but I don't want that white to get any darker, so I'm going to go ahead and mixed up way too much. Now that'll be fine. I'm going to go ahead and hit some of these darker areas again real fast with a very light hand. Again, you don't want to re-agitate any of your pigments and stir them up. And this will put a nice even coat all over your painting. Or, well, not necessarily all over, but where you're hitting it at. I'm going to blend this white area just a little bit more with a clean paintbrush. There we are. And I think I'll hit that tail a little bit darker. Little feet. and maybe a little bit around that little gut. And there we have it. Now, I did lose some of my detail, but I didn't lose a whole bunch. It's not like I have to start all over again. And I think that that ought to do. If anything, I might want to add a little bit more brown to some of those areas because he feels a little washed out in some places. So I'm going to do the exact same thing in the lighter areas, but with my brown. I'm going to kind of use the same motion that I did the fur with. There we go. And maybe a little bit more on his face. Blend that out a little bit. There we go. Yeah, it feels better. No, it's not as overexposed like an overexposed photograph. Feels a little better. And there we have it, a simple, easy way to add shadowing when using watercolor. I hope you guys found this video in any way helpful. I do use, for myself, I do use Reeves. I love the tin. Reeves is very well known for their cakes. Basically, they are the ones that invented watercolor cakes. So, yeah, I feel they know their business. I don't care to use the tubes. I always learned how to use cakes, and specifically, I learned how to use Reeves. But, so this whole painting is done with a Reeves. And, yeah, so I hope this video was helpful for you guys. Please like, subscribe, share, comment, do all those wonderful things you people do. If you have any questions, do leave them down in the comment section, and I might just make a video based on what you ask me. Otherwise, thanks for coming and hanging out, guys.